Hey guys, this is Homestead Lou here. It's time for a serious sit-down session. Okay, I came out, moved out, back out to the country about 4 years ago. And the reason I did that was so I could grow my own food and raise my own livestock for meat and etc. And I did that for a purpose, of course. You know, just the food chain, you know, it's just too much chemicals and stuff like that being put into your foods, things like that. And I wanted to be a little healthier and then get back to nature. So, you know, sometimes it takes me a minute to kind of compose myself to get out what I want to say. So please bear with me. Most of my videos will be point of view videos because my channel is not to highlight myself. It's just to point out things to individuals, try to help people. Maybe they can get some benefit from some of these videos that I discuss, whether it's gardening or mechanics or whatever. Okay, it's not about me. It's about what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. Okay, so let's get that established. I'm not going to really discuss politics or religion, even though I'm Christian and I'm very devoted. But that's not the purpose of this channel. The purpose of this channel is to help, if I can. Some people just, you know, they don't know where to start. They want to do things to better their lives. But however, we got a serious problem, people. And the problem is, see all this out here? This is all green, okay? This is my green deal, okay? We just had a little bit of a light rain, but I don't think it's gonna be enough to help my fields. But anyways, you need to pay attention to what's going on. There's a lot of stuff going on concerning farming. Okay, yeah, we got the fuels thing that extrapolates into farming. Trying to be code word or keyword sensitive here. That fuel thing extrapolates into everything we do in our lives. Okay, and some people are trying to snatch that away from us, which in turn drives the price up for everybody. The small people, the entrepreneurs, that whether they're trying to make money by doing farming or whether they're trying to be self-reliant, self-sufficient in their own lives and not rely on other people, which that's the way we should be. This country was built on oil. Oop, there's a keyword. Oh boy. And it was built on cattle. The Western expansion back in the late 1800s and stuff, that caused all kind of rift between ranchers and farmers, etc., because they had open ranges. Farmers come in, they'd put up barbed wire, and that created some ranch farmer wars back in the day, you know, cutting fences and destroying fields and etc. Okay, this country was basically built on beef. That black, sticky, smelly stuff that comes out of the earth and beef. Okay. Well, right now, that beef is under fire. Okay, the cost of raising animals, the cost of feeds, the cost of all that is directly related to the price of that black stuff we get out of the ground. Fertilizers, etc. You need to pay attention to what's going on out there from alternate sources. You need to see what's going on. There's other countries like Italy, Poland, Germany, the Netherlands. Okay, if you don't know what I'm talking about there, you need to get online, go to some alternate sites, not these big conglomerates that all talk about the exact same thing and don't discuss what's really going on. What's really going on is they're trying to shut down the entrepreneurial people, the people that want to be self-reliant, etc., to price them out of being able to do business. to make it so expensive and so costly, just such a regulatory headache and etc. You know, farming has been subsidized heavily since I can remember, since I've been alive, which is, you know, I mean, I grew up on a farm through the 70s, 80s, mainly the 80s. And even back then they had programs to control supply, to control prices, etc. Milk dumping programs. You know, I even worked for some of those agencies when I was a kid as a summertime job. Like honey as an example. These honey producers would put honey into these barrels and they'd put it in storage with a certain agency and they could draw loans against it. Well, once you start getting involved with a three-letter agency, well, that one's a four-letter agency. Once you start getting involved in those agencies, they tell you how you can operate, what you can grow, how you grow it, what you can do with your land, and etc. Whether it's having set-aside programs and etc. And so farming has become more chemical farming instead of organic farming, like taking manure, putting it on a field, put some organic matter back into the ground, to have, you know, clover fields out there that put nitrogen in the ground. That nitrogen turn around and be used by other plants to grow better. Okay, so right now there's other countries, they're trying to stop that nitrogen. Well, that's the good thing. You know, these plants, they breathe CO2 and they expel oxygen for humans. Yeah. So anyways, you have to pay attention what's going on in other places. We're about 12 to 18 months behind what's going on in other places like that. And they're fed up. The farmers over there are finally fed up. Eventually, that'll happen here. It's got a little lag time from what goes on over there. Eventually, it comes here. And, you know, whether you can get your product to market, it just costs too much to operate. Those are all control methods to prevent, you know, or to get what they want and not what we want. So, oh boy, trying to be very careful here. Whether it's getting farming hooked on chemicals and genetic crop yields and things like that, whether it's, you know, big seed companies, a lot of times you can't even use the seed that is generated from the current crop or, you know, whatever, to even plant back. And so they control the output by controlling the availability of what it takes to create that product. And it's not just farming, this is everything, but mainly farming, because guess what, we have to eat, people. And I'm not eating what they're wanting to eat, what they're wanting us to eat. I'm just not doing it. We've got foreign countries buying up a lot of this ag land. We used to have laws against all that. I don't know what went on there. Grease in pockets. I know exactly what went on there. But then you also got mega rich people buying up thousands and thousands of acres of farmland also. The same way with the housing markets. I mean, you've got big companies that are subsidized by the government. We the people, we're subsidizing our own demise. And people need to figure that out. Because this year's going to be bad enough with the droughts. I mean, you can see my fields out there. We just got a little drizzle that isn't going to do nothing but rejuvenate the bugs and raise the humidity up. Wasn't enough to get my hay going back again. So when you have lack of support for farming, i.e., you know, being able to provide feed, provide hay, the cost of those materials go up, the supply goes away, and then you can't afford to produce. That's the main thing. They're trying to make it to where you can't afford to produce a product, and thus you're going to go out of business, or you're going to have to shut down. It just becomes too expensive to do it. Well, when that happens, people, agriculture has its own lag time from when you go to the market, when people get things from products and stores, etc. You know, most people think milk comes from a plastic jug. Boy, yeah. Hopefully the people that are watching this, they know better, and I'm sure they do. It's just, it's very disheartening. You know, the little guy gets snuffed out. The big guys, they got enough cash assets that they can take some of the brunt of these prices. Well, anyways, it's going to put these little people out, and so it's going to flood the market with say beef. So the price is going to bottom out for them. But however, the processors that pack it and everything else, they're going to make bank. I mean, they're getting more money and et cetera for the product because the supply to supply the people. They yeah, I just don't. People need to wake up to what's going on. Turn off that stupid, what my dad used to call the boob tube. Turn that off. It's all the same. They're not going to tell you what's going on overseas when it comes to farming and food and etc. They're going to do the shiny object. Oh, look over here, while they do something else. And a lot of information online is good, and a lot of it is bad. A lot of it's false, a lot of it's made up, a lot of it's enough to get you in trouble, to get you doing something that's going to hurt you or hurt whatever you're doing. So just beware. There's a lot of grifters out there. There's a lot of, and I had to look up that word here about 2-3 years ago, just trying to make money off of things. I'm not going to sell any merch. I'm not going to sell a book. You know, you turn on these talking heads, and every one of them's trying to hawk a book, trying to hawk their garbage. Okay, it's all about the money. You know, I mean, it's all about the money. And with that being said, we had spent trillions of dollars, even with a prior, I'm going to just say, administration, spent billions of dollars or trillions of dollars. And those trillions of dollars that were printed has caused this inflation that we're currently feeling. Okay, because that's about an 18, and I'm not an economist, but I've been alive for a little while, so I know what's going on. I follow history. I see what's going on. I remember the 70s. I remember the crappy cuts of meat Mom had to beat the snot out of to just make it to where we could chew it. You know, we're headed back there again. However, so that inflation that we're feeling right now is stuff that was done 18, 24 months ago. Well, guess what, people? We've printed 6 to 9 trillion, I can't remember the exact number, within the last year and a half. We're going to start to feel that added on inflation. These numbers, they're not figuring this stuff right. They're padding the numbers. I don't trust any data unless I see the raw data and I can analyze it myself. But I'm not going to go to that extent. I see what's going on. Inflation is about to go through the roof. This year's farming will affect next year. People, I'm not too worried too much about this year. The rest of this year. Yeah, after this summer, this fall, this winter, it's food availability and things like that, and quality of it is going to be slim pickings. I've seen people gardening this year that haven't gardened in 15 years. Okay, used to see side road, you know, on the side of the road, stands for produce and whatnot. I haven't seen one yet. Period. You know, I mean, I go to the farmers market little thing, and you see a few products there, but I mean, even that. I mean, you see baskets and baskets, truckloads of stuff. My advice: if you have a garden, save some seeds back. Hopefully, that seed is an heirloom type seed that you planted, and you can reutilize those seeds for next year, because it's next year that's going to be the biggie. Next year is where we're really going to see the problems, because agriculture, what's produced right now, it takes about 12 months for it to hit the market, be processed through, whether it's grains, whether it's wheat, ground into flour, oats for, your oatmeal and things like that. Farming has went too specific on, soybeans. Farmers are all putting out these soybeans, putting out this corn for methanol, so they can add it to gasoline and all that stuff. And that's heavily, heavily subsidized. So, what's impacting now, we will feel next year. So people, you need to be paying attention. Figure out your little gardening tricks. It takes a while to figure things out. If you plant fruit trees, guess what? It's going to take about 5 years before you're going to even see your first fruit. It took 3 years. I got a couple little snobby apples out there on the trees. You saw in one of my videos maybe where I had the cedar rust on them. Well, that affects the production of my apples. I'll lose the leaves, etc. I've got grapes. I've had them in the ground for 2 years. They're just now finally starting to run up the trellis, but it'll probably be another 1.5 years, 2 years. Okay. Figure out your plan. Have backups to your backups. Electricity is going to cost even more. Prices of production are going to go through the roof. Availability is going to go into the basement as far as being able to get stuff. So if you foresee that you need to do any maintenance on vehicles or servicing, this, that, and the other, or spare parts or whatnot, you better get it now. I'm just telling you, you better get it now. I finally stocked up on some gear oil for gearboxes and hydraulic fluids and engine oils and things like that. Yeah, it's kind of a pain in the butt. You got to stockpile the stuff, but you don't want to be left short. Not being able to do what you have to do. So have backups to your backups. I'm not scared. I'm not trying to do any fear thing. I just want people to be aware of what's going on around them. Some people are. Some people still have their head in the sand, thinking everything is going to be all right. We're America, and we'll work through it, and I hope we do. But we have to have some major changes going on, and why this is happening. That stuff has to be changed. They've straight out told you what they're going to do. 2 years ago, 3 years ago, they've been saying exactly what's going to go on. Well, we're just not feeling it. But overseas in a certain area, that they all try to act as one giant brain over there, well, they're feeling it now. Certain countries promote this, and their people are lashing out against what's going on. But they should have done it many years ago, just like here. We should have stood up against this stuff many years ago. This stuff's been happening for generations, and it's just slowly, put more weight on the little guy. It's put more burden on the guy that's barely able to make it, barely able to survive. Whether it's credit, that's the thing. Get people hooked on credit, get people hooked on debt, and then they're working their butts off just to cover their debt and can't get their head out of the water. So I wanted to have this serious sit-down session with you guys. I think that's what I'll title this. Serious sit-down session. So just be ready. People get hungry. People are going to do some wild things. Just plan for it. Just be ready. That's all I got to say. I don't like what's going on. I'm aware of what's going on though, and you too need to be aware. And I have my own family. They don't quite see, but they kind of do. And I think as this progresses, more and more people are going to be aware of what's going on. And, of course, they're going to go out there and try to buy things, and the availability shortages and things like that are going to be extrapolated. So if you can be self-sufficient, self-reliant, you need to. Water, being able to generate your own electricity, being able to store your own produce, foods, etc. without power, without electricity. You need to plan for that. I mean, you've got to plan for that, because the overloads of these grids have been neglected, and unfortunately, I think that's the next domino to start falling. I hope not. I love my air conditioning. I really do, especially out here when it's triple digits and the humidity, and yeah. So, all right, people. Well, I'll let you go. I just had to get this off my chest. Been thinking about how to discuss it. I know it's probably not the best. I'm not the best communicator because my brain goes 50,000 different directions. But anyways, all right. Well, take care, people. Talk to you later.